Welcome back to part number 7 of my Imperator Rome Marius update Seleukid Empire series. We started off the game attacking Moria. We've been back twice already, did some warring up here. We were attacked, a surprise attack by the Parnian hordes. It turned out not to be such an event after all. Just hired these two bruisers, which are on their way home from this area. The ones that's Seleukid Megali, there they are. They are almost ready to be hired again, perhaps. Anyway, I positioned them at the gates here, this area, and this area here used to be called the Parnian Gates, I think. And they stopped the hordes from coming down into our civilized territory and ravaging it. I sent some troops up through Bactria. We were at war over here. We lumbered up to this area and took the whole of it out. We're at the point right now where there's not a lot of question as to exactly the outcome of any given small war. At this point, this is a small war. I'm about to declare on Moria. He has Palata, Moria, Samatata, and Nabhapakati. I'm not going to show it. I don't think there's much to see. These guys just kick a lot of tail. They have some serious cav units which do very well against the Morian and company levies. Hired these big fat merc stacks here. I probably will take Moria, this bit of Palata, maybe release another client state here in Palata, and then go at it with these guys here. There's Pitinika, and they're affiliated with Andhara. They're both tribals, tech level 0. We should stomp them as well. I'm going to go ahead here also and increase the opinion of Tylos. Maybe we make them a client state if they become more favorably disposed, have a higher opinion of us. Essentially transitioning out of a war game. If anything comes up of any relevance in this battle, like if we're overrun somehow or something strange happens, I'll hit the record button, but I don't think there's really much to see. I'll show the peace settlement. If we're attacked by Egypt, of course, Armenia, various major powers who could do some damage, of course, I'll begin the recording or whatnot, but we've seen plenty of warring in this series. There's plenty of warring to see in other series, and there's no real question in my mind as to the outcome. I'm not going to bother showing it or waste your time with it. We're at the point where provincial loyalty is what really is driving this game at this point, and there's quite a bit of it about, and it's headed down. So these barracks should at some point become habitated, and the freemen and such should begin to promote and increase the loyalty. As to whether it's we can avoid a rebellion or not, I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm gonna let's go ahead and declare said war. We'll lumber forward here, and I need to bank some money as well, build various things. This mission is in queue here. We need to get 4 more buildings. We'll get 2 free provincial improvements. Problem is, well, I need in fact, this area probably has flipped to disloyalty already. There's a couple of cities here which could use some grand theaters. They are about to flip into negative territory. I can still build a grand theater here if I were to spend the money or the tech points. I'm going to do that right now. The tech points is what we're going to do here. Let's we can have an extra relation here, and then we go to gradual economic integration. Let's do that. A couple of these attacks hit while the armies were coming back from the day engagement over to the Mayoran front here. So now theoretically I could create those theaters in these areas. Where exactly those areas are, they're here. I could do it. They're expensive. 249. Maybe we'll not mess with that just right now, and this area is going to flip to disloyal, and what can I do, really? They'll convert or something, or maybe they revolt. I don't know. I'm not going to do it. I need to keep some money on hand just in case something weird happens, like Egypt attacks, and I need to hire those bruisers again. Okay, so I'll be back. Well, we'll declare the war and then we'll get going here. So this guy is ready for some action there. Maybe move him over here. These guys are moving. That guy is ready for action now as well. Why this guy is there or not here, I can't say as I rightly know. We need to get them in position here. We got some money. The guy gains 10 loyalties. We get some stability. Let's see. This fellow loses 243. Does he have it? He does. Our stability is headed up. We have no aggressive expansion. We're going to take the funding. Maybe drop a theater in that area with the guy's money that I was just discussing. Is it still actionable? It's all over. It was down at 32 now. Oh well, just a moment too late. But not worry. We're not worried. We'll carry on. I think we're about in position to where we can declare this war. I think we're going to choose the provenance of Avanti as the war goal. That's still the same combatants. And we'll choose Avanti. It's already chosen. All of our client states are involved. And we can declare that war. Theoretically, Isukara can take much of Nab Hapakti. And I'm going to try to take that. The capital of Mayor, we don't have a claim. We're going to take a lot of aggressive expansion. Take this and this. And we should end up with a fair amount of aggressive expansion, which will burn down in the second war. I think that's what happens. I'll let you know. There's really not a lot to see here. I'll be back. Okay, this Tylos, that was quick. Apparently they want to become a client state at present. And that sounds like a reasonable idea, really. We have 2 slots available. And we'll have now only 1 slot available. We just want to, let's take an assessment of what's going on with Gandhari. I think they integrate very quickly. 497. So 5 years we're going to integrate Gandhara, as well as open up another diplomatic slot so we can create another client state. I think by integrating Tylos, we gain the ability to annex Maka and Gera under the Tylos banner, and we won't have to release a massive provenance with the cities and pops and all sorts of other things that we'd have to reintegrate. So this is an entire province we would have to release. We'd have to release an entire province here as well. Whereas with Tylos, we can just turn that into a client state, bring some mercs and our taxes or stratos back, take the area, have Tylos Macedonianize it. I'm not sure exactly as to the make up Babylonian Arabic, I see. Well, whatever the case is, we'll integrate them and we won't have to deal with the aggressive expansion. And we'll not worry, really. So we won a siege here. This is the periodic war update. So we've won this. It's essentially been a slaughter so far. We walked over here and essentially dispatched, I think, two armies. Stack wiped 1 or 2 here as well. They lumbered back to this fort. It's been a slaughter, as I said. And I'll be back when the war's over. I probably should have recorded this, included it as part of the episode. One of our characters in the Seleukid family had to be imprisoned because he was plotting a coup. Exactly where he is, there he is. He's here. We lost 5 stability, took a bit of tyranny. And we lost the ability to descorn the Seleukid, so I had to arrange an adoption. Ended up adopting this fellow here. A young man, he has a fair oratory, and he can replace our AE man who's becoming aged. at some point. It's a nice backup. Our omen power is not particularly high. Just did a search here, of course. Sorted by age was the point, and just went down and ruled out great family, and then that leaves me with minor characters. The guy was Macedonian Hellenic, adopted him, placed him. It's a slaughter. I could have ended this some time back, but I wanted to procure this land here for our client state, as I don't want to take all of this territory here for myself, as I have no claims here, and I'll get a horrendous amount of aggressive expansion. And I'll be back. Okay, so rather than piecing out really quick, I'm sort of trying to avoid aggressive expansion and basking in the zero aggressive expansion we presently have, and our stability is on the uptick, and I don't have to pay for it either. I didn't have to stab the proverbial pig. I didn't have to do much of anything. Just a couple of events here and there. So I'm going to send this guy up to siege this fort. The battlefield is essentially done. I've let 2 mercs go. Just mopping up this area. There's not a lot of resistance left. And we are making a decent fair amount of money. There's really not much to do other than just sort of wait. If I take this, I'll be able to claim these provinces here across the board, therefore our client state. And then I think I can take this, as if I take this fort as well for our client state, none of it will give me any aggressive expansion. Let's see how inclined the fellow is for peace. I think I could take more presently than I want. So I'm going to take this, I think theoretically, for me. And let's see. That's a bunch of war score and a fair amount of aggressive expansion as well. Maybe we'll not take his capital just right now. As let's check to see the aggressive expansion we're taking. We're taking 10, 20, 27, say 35. Call it around 35 or 40. That's more than I really want. So if we only take that, and that, and that, how much do we end up with? 4, 8, that's more like it, 10 points. And that's more to my liking, as it'll keep our stability up. And then our client state can have the rest. Theoretically, I think we have a claim there as well. What will it cost us? Another 7, whatnot. I'm not sure I want it. I want this area here to turn into a client state to take more territory here after the war. But orchestrating the war is not a problem. What is a problem here is our provincial loyalty. I've been warring and I haven't paid much mind to it, and apparently some of them have slipped into the negative zone there and are headed down fairly quickly. I'm going to do a sort here. We have a fair bankroll, and let's see here. We also have these. I think I'm going to go for, speaking of provincial loyalty, we need to get to the government traditions wonder effect sooner than later. I'm going to get here, and we'll get this royal army or whatnot when we do, which is not going to be anytime soon. We need to get these loyalties in line and carry on with that effort. Let's do the sort here by provenances and loyalty and see if we can head off any. So these are essentially done, and there's nothing that can be sent to them any longer. I don't even know where they are. This area here is positive at present. This has been giving us trouble the whole time long, or the whole game long, and now I think it's less inclined to be disloyal because there's no one there, and they're all Hellenic, and they are bonused by our 4 Hellenic pantheons. So even the random Hellenic slave that's wrong culture, sort of wandering around in the countryside, is happier than not because we have 4 Hellenic pantheons. So good for us. This area is resolved. We don't need to mess with it. This area is cooked. This is that area that I could have flipped, but didn't. And those 2 cities, well, it's sort of becoming more agreeable, and maybe I can build some theaters and such there at some point as well. I should also probably lose my slave output 20% and get... how much does that slave output really get me? I don't rightly know. I think our slaves, many of them are in cities. So we have a fair output efficiency anyway, 114. That'll drop by 20% if we were to eliminate the slave output choice that we've made here. And the question is, how much are we going to build? Or do we just carry on warring and keep the slave output? I think we're going to keep the building to a minimum right now, and then maybe after we sack the Mauryan capital sometime in the future, we'll switch over to the 10% build cost bonus. We're just going to put out some fires right now, and we'll see about where is this area here. Well, really nothing that can be done here. I see. We never built a barracks in this area, and there are no cities. It's bleeding ever so slightly. How old is this guy? 64. What does he do exactly? A Menid family man. Let's see if we find another Menid family. He's getting a bit older. Find a young Menid. Here's a young Menid. No corruption. Not that he has some zeal, however. Well, we're not worried about that because we keep our Seleucids in the government. So, looks as though he's chosen other than this policy. But the good news is, we're going to harsh treatment the area and get that trending back even at least. I think this guy essentially sucks at government, and maybe I might have just spent some funding on something other than it was necessary. Well, he's there. We'll not worry about it. Let's go on to the next. I could have... okay, so this area is trending back up, but nothing can be said to it. How about this area? It's about to flip. I see. Do we have buildings? We don't have any buildings. Can we build? We can still build them. It's not into the negative yet. It's 0.07 down. I think we can build both a theater and a temple. Concentrate some pops in this area so that they'll be happier than not. Let's get these surrounding territories down to low level so they'll assimilate and convert quickly. In fact, I suspect we will probably have to take all the pops, which is no problem on my end. We need one more guy. Who knows? Well, we don't really care because we haven't maxed out our buildings either. Maybe we'll go for that. Maybe we'll just get a mill there. As these guys are essentially wrong culture, we'll make them happier than not. And that should resolve quickly enough. What's next? What's next? We spent a substantial amount of money there. This area, Media Magna, is about to flip as well. Let's see. We have a substantial amount of pops in this area. And the city is 0.05 down. Okay, so if we do away with that city's problem, I think we can solve Hellenic Zoroaster. So we'll build a temple there, and that should resolve that issue. We build a theater there as well. Why not do it? That'll convert and assimilate them as well. And we put out that fire, but we don't have the money to carry it. Well, maybe we'll... Yeah, we'll build perhaps a theater as opposed to a temple. We get a normal passive conversion. So we'll get that. These guys should come around with that loyalty. It should flip to positive. And we can build a theater or something in a new area that is more necessary, relevant to about to flip. That area. Okay. So this area here is 0.07 down. Does it have a city? It does. It has a single city. Said city is 0.10 down. So if we build a theater and a temple in said city and move some pops in there, that should resolve as well. Move some guys out from wherever around the countryside here. We'll get some from this livestock area. We'll leave them on the grain just in case we need to populate that. Good enough. Perhaps the status of these pops here, I'd imagine they are... We'll perhaps make them happier than not. We have some aqueducts. We'll not worry about that activity. We have them all there. What's next? We're running out of money, unfortunately. So this area... Well, how about you? It's positive. Medium, we've dealt with that. How about you here? Okay, so this area is about to flip negative for whatever reason. The governor corruption's not helping. And Palmyra, a city of here. So how many pops are there? A fair number. We have mostly wrong culture. And we have a passive religion. We're going to go ahead here, build a theater there, and let the religion happen when it does. And the more for the 0.05 bonus to our loyalty. I suppose we could build a temple there as well. And perhaps we just swap this guy out. Filleted family to a non-corrupt matrix there with this fellow here. So who can we get? He can leave, and we don't have. He won't go. The family won't go scorn. Can get the Furtakas. Okay, so we'll just place a new governor there. That's what we'll do, and it doesn't really matter who it is, so long as it's a great family and no corruption. There's a great family man, no corruption. Family head, we don't rightly know. He's a bit old, perhaps. And there's a fellow corrupt. This fellow, I don't think he's the family head. And let's see if we can find 42 corrupt. And a lot of these guys are just straight up corrupt. This guy's not, he's young. That'll make the whole family grateful. Well, maybe it works out. Let's do it. He's done it. What's next? That area is about to flip here as well. So that is, I'd imagine there's a couple of cities here which are causing, yep, there are 3 cities there. Let's see the size. All of them are fairly filled, reasonably filled. And this area is not converting very quickly per se. Maybe we build a temple, as we're not going to be drawing many levies from this area. I figure why not build a temple here. And we'll build a temple here as well. And that should offset the 5 for Dravaka and mitigate the 0.06 down by 5. So that should flip to positive after these buildings are built. That essentially is all of our money. We're not going to spend all of it. And we'll carry on with this effort and see if we can annex this to our client state and then carry on. I'll be back. We came into a bit more money, just letting the war drag on for reasons just stated. Have no aggressive expansion. We got a stability event. We're still headed up, so why peace out just right now? This area, I think we can build a temple or a theater. I'd imagine they're not Macedonian or particularly Hellenic either. A few Hellenics automatically convert them. we're going to get this area converted because, again, we're not going to be drawing many levies from this area. I mean, much legions for this area for some time. So that we spent some money, and we've got that fire under control, which was arrived at by this sort here. There it is there. And we have another here. I think we have dealt with this area. It should resolve with this. Maybe we'll build. Oh, we have both going up. All right. And we'll go down that list further here. We arrive there again. So this is headed 0.05 down. We have two cities, and the reason it's headed down is because of Deta and Masana, both of these cities here, highly populated, I'd imagine. Why don't we move some pops into, well, why don't we roust some of these aqueducts? I usually destroy aqueducts on general principle, but perhaps if we can group all these guys up together, I'm going to destroy the aqueduct. We're going to do away with them. We'll move more pops from the countryside to this area. We'll grab a couple from there and here as well. So that's 36 of whatnot here. We don't have a temple. We're going to build one. And this area here could do with some pops as well. We'll get some pops from the surrounding countryside, not from wheat anywhere else, but and I think that that does it there. We're about at capacity. We may as well grab a couple from here. Maybe we'll leave that be and we'll build another temple. These guys should convert at some point, and then they'll assimilate faster as well. But the more to the point, it's headed down by 0.03, and both of these areas are headed down 0.05. Both the temple will mitigate the local territorial malice here at 0.05 each, so it should head up. We have very little money, and we're going to carry on and try to put these fires out before they go down to 0.33. I'll be back. A bit of an update as to what's going on in the war. We're essentially have our way with the battlefield. It's just a matter of occupying. We're keeping what we have occupied. Once this falls, I'm going to peace out. We'll have our client state take this territory here, and we'll carry on. I think we will indeed try to take the capital. I'm not exactly sure. I'll be back. All right, so I've been sort of wasting time. Usually I try to close these wars out as soon as possible, but this one has dragged on about a year and a half or more, longer than it needed to. But I think I've secured some territory for our client state in this area. We should be able to separate peace out here due to the length of the war. We can. That means that we can transfer the ownership of these various territories to our soon-to-be supermassive client state Isukara. What we need to do is drive for the Greek mainland and get to the Temple of Zeus, and we may want to go around the long way this way, as we need the 0.5 integration speed from that wonder. And that may be it may look like a tall order right now, but I think that's the next item on our agenda. We need to get that integration speed going, because this is going to be a whopper of a meal for Isukara here for sure. We'll find whether it can hold it or not. I think this is dealt with, that. We'll take this whole lot for Isukara. And I think that it should... where is that? The Seleukid Empire. So we need to swap that out. I see, we don't... I see, we don't hold that any longer. Well, perhaps we'll not worry about the fellows' activities just right now. Maybe we can recruit some families. This war has dragged on long enough, and we really don't have anyone in the area. And we'll just not worry about it. So this area for Isukara, 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 and Isukara, 28, that'll just have to be what it is. We shouldn't take any land here. Sometimes we do. In this case, we didn't. What is Isukara's integration time now? 562. It's not bad, really. So what if we were to transfer this to Isukara as well? I believe we could probably separate piece out here. Have Isukara take that as well. It looks as though it'll take the whole lot. Except for this Vanga area, wherever it is, we don't control it. So we'll take that. It says here. There, the blinking light. It's no problem. We'll do that. We've done it. So he still has this area. I suppose we could have taken this, but I'm just tiring of this war and will not worry about any more. Besides, he was sieging down the Mauryan capital. We need to get on to other matters as well. The war has dragged on for far too long. So now I think we should just have Palada, who's a client state and cannot be pieced with separately. That leaves us with a 99 war score against the Procyan Empire here, the former Mauryan Empire, and we'll learn the truth of what can be had there. Theoretically, we could transfer more to Isukara. Let's learn the truth of when Isukara will integrate exactly. 569, really. That's just not really all that far away. So, and we don't want this. We don't even have close to a claim on it. So why not let Isukara have it? And then we'll drive for the Temple of Zeus. We'll just leave this area be. Then we'll drive for the temple ASAP. We have access to Kalinga via this direction over here, so we don't care about cutting ourselves off and giving this territory to Isukara as well. Because we have a bunch of war score, and we may as well exercise it without taking an egregious amount of aggressive expansion. I think we can take the rest for ourselves. Let's see here. We want that. We want all the rest. We have claims here. Let's just see what happens. I think we may be able to take this fellow out in his entirety. First, we exercise to Isukara. It's about half the war score there. Well, we certainly want that area. We're going to want that, and that, and that. That's 93 war score. It'll leave us a claim here unless we have 7. We wanted this tiny little area here as well. Let's see. What is this? The Palladian Vindihaya. There it is there. So we can turn that into a client state and then swing down this way and engage Pitinika with a new client state that we create as long as we're in the area. So that's 97 war score. Do we have any more sort of partial provenances that we can take? Not really. Well, we could have a partial provenance, say, here. What's the name of this area? What's the provenance? It starts with a V-A-I-R-A. Let's see if we can take that as well. We'll try to find it. V-A-I-R-A. That is the one we're looking for. I think this is it. Well, I have that. So that's 98, and that's good enough for me. So we have only 28 aggressive expansion. Good for us. We've taken the Mauryan capital. And the Procyan Empire is now essentially exists right here where we already have a claim. That's good for us. How much money do we get for this effort? 22 some odd. War Elephant Discipline. Unfortunately, we get some corruption. We get 800 gold. Do we need the War Elephant Discipline? Not really. No, not really. These guys will be highly agitated as well. Let's see, we gain 10 legitimacy. We don't really have much legitimacy because of the crazed oracle. Yeah. We don't really need the money, I suppose. We gain some popularity, gain some legitimacy. 800 gold is nice. It's not a bad idea. Some of these guys will go. We're going to go with the middle route, no corruption. We're not worried about the legitimacy just right now. Why is... Oh, it's 0.11 up again. So ruler unpopularity. That's sort of strange. Didn't it just say he had 100 popularity? I guess it hasn't updated yet, right? So that will change shortly. And that should trend back up. We have various governors to assign. The Prokians are here as well. And we can't do away with them because Isukara is near. Actually, we can trigger them here and then occupy them with Isukara again. So when is the new integration here? 593, sometime away. So he'll be at it for a while. He's going to be Tech 4 for essentially the rest of the game. So what? So what? I'm going to come up with a plan. Maybe look at the provincial loyalties. I'll be right back. Okay, so we just finished that war. I took a break and came back, reacclimating myself to the game. And as I look here, I kind of wanted to create the client state as I had described here. And note that I have neglected to create a claim. I go here and I find that I don't have one in works, strangely enough. So, we're going to file that claim on, say, this territory I think that we want for ourselves here, Aparanta. And maybe we give the rest of it to our would-be client state, which we plan to create here. In this territory, let's see how many, this territory here. One of these 4 territories, let's see the exact nature. There's 10 pops there, 14, 5, and 2. So if we move the capital here, we can move this guy, this slave, out, leaving this tribesman. Means we need essentially 2 Macedonian Hellenics to turn this into a puppet state. It's going to be both Macedonian culture and Hellenic religion. Then we can have it proceed here. Depending on the length of the war, we probably could sort of fudge the rules. The client state can annex anywhere it pleases. If we go 3 years, we could separate peace here first, and then here and make another massive one. But I don't think it'll go that long, and we usually like to stick to the adjacent thing. If this were a normal player war and I wasn't annexing with a client state, I would not be able to acquire this territory as he's outside my diplomatic range. So I don't think the war is going to go 3 years, so we'll just do like a year and a quarter, year and a half, take much of this, dredge up some war score, and take as much as we can get. I think that's the plan. It could go longer. Who knows, really. We have quite a bit of money, and we have quite a bit more income now. We gained 20 since the war ended. That's good news. We still have our empire decision we can do. I'm not interested in this right now. We have another tradition we can take, heavy cav offense. Well, nothing wrong with heavy cav offense, really. In fact, why not take it right now? So we are almost at the Persian tradition group. We need 182 pops now. It's rising pretty quick. It was 144 just a little moment ago. Let's see exactly how many pops we still have there. I believe we have the Persian group integrated 317 now. Well, I think we're going to make it, but if I had gone the other way and taken that extra tradition, I probably would be worried. Okay, so we need to assign a governor. How many governors exactly do we need? We need 1 and 2. So this one's going to be Which of these regions is larger? If I had to probably say, both of them are quite small. This one's going to have a higher power base. So we're going to choose someone appropriate for that. Hopefully this fellow has a fair marshal. He doesn't say anything about family head. Let's be sure that he's not. He's not. He well could be soon, but we'll work through that if and when that happens. And we will go here first. There first. We'll plop him down. Seems loyal enough. Perhaps this... yeah, we'll place him down. And we'll go for someone else who has no corruption. This other fellow here looks like a decent enough choice. Probably would have been... Anyway, so we have these exiled armies. One here. I'm going to keep this guy on. There are a couple of mercs. I don't like searching the board every... You know, there's one here. And I think there's another one off here. And that's good enough for me. We're going to rehire them when we restart this war. And that claim is going to hit sooner or later. So let's just get these guys over to this area. And we'll let that claim hit and we'll go forward. First, though, I want to spend a little bit of money and take a look at some of these provenances. I made some notes about moving some pops after the last episode ended. And apparently one of these areas is disloyal. This is the one, yeah. So if I wanted to move Macedonians from this area, just the 2 Macedonians, I couldn't make it through here. But I think there is a path here to and now this is disloyal as well. And there are a couple of Macedonians, I think, up in this area. All that I need is 2, and I'm pretty sure I can get them from here. There was some degree of Macedonianism in the area. And we'll cross that bridge if and when it comes. And it will come at some point. But what I want to do is build some loyalty buildings in loyalty challenged provinces. That's essentially where this game is at right now. The warring is going well, unless, of course, we're challenged by a major or great power to the west, at which point we would have to raise some levies and hope for the best, I guess, because we don't really have that big of an army over here either. Essentially, this last war was won with 2 armies and 3 mercenary armies and a bunch of vassals. Vassals did quite a bit of work, but anyway, let's see what we can buy here at places where we can actually do something. So we dealt with that in the middle of last episode, as is evidenced by our building things there. If we go here, I would imagine... Okay, so that area... Is there anything that can be done? Is it disloyal? It looks as though we can... It's still loyal, so something can be done in the area. In fact, it's positive loyalty now, so we'll not worry about it. Let's look for negative loyalty, which we found here. So this area is negative, and we've dealt with it. That should flip to positive with this theater or temple. That should resolve adequately. Let's keep going down here. Where is that? That's been dealt with as well. Media Felix. I don't think that has been dealt with. So we're bleeding 0.07, and we have no cities in that area, and all of the cities around it are filled up. Okay. Let's build a barracks there, and we'll just move some pops on there and hope they convert to freemen and become happier. We're gonna move some guys from there. The less pops again that we have on any of these given territories, the faster they'll assimilate and convert. So these guys will be happier and these guys will convert and assimilate faster. We've done what we can there. Let's go to the next. Assyria. So Assyria's gone mad. Minus 0.01. And this area is not even remotely Hellenic. Has no temple. Let's make it Hellenic. And we'll carry on to the next. That should solve the loyalty as well. I want to build some foundries in our capital. That's why I don't build more buildings elsewhere. Okay, so this area looks as though it's bleeding 0.04. And it has... wow, there's not a lot that can be done there. And we have a barracks on the capital area. And quite a few pops in the surrounding territory. All right. So how about that area? We have some room here in these cities. And why not get these guys out of that area? And to some of these deep pop cities that need pops. How about this one? Does it need pop? No, it doesn't. There's about 7 or 8, and then there's like 7 or 8 there, and there's probably some food territories about that we could populate with some grain. Well, the bottom line, this has 100 loyalty, this has negative loyalty and counting. So just a bit of corruption on the governor's part. Do I want to swap out the governor? Head of the Medid family. Let's just leave him be. We're going to move some pops out of that area, get them down into this area. And that's what we'll do to solve that problem. And again, the lower pop threshold that we have in that province, the faster they're going to assimilate and convert, and the sooner this will become a non-issue. You see, there's quite a bit of few pops there. Well, leave the Hellenic Macedonians in that troubled area. And there must be a barracks there as well. There is a barracks there as well. Okay, well, the area is still... okay. Let's see, we'll get these guys down. And get these guys out as well. Let's just do it. Get all of these guys out. As many as... No wonder it's so disloyal. There's just a truckload and a quarter of pops in that area. Now we have to pay to move them around. We're going to move them to... let's see here. We don't have room there or there. There or there. Well, maybe we build another city in this territory, or maybe we just make some grain. Move them to grain. Whatever the case is, we're going to get them out of that troubled territory and into this one. Let's do it. And we're going to get them to where they can build something, or be constructive and not rebellious. What do we have? 1 grain there. Vegetables, livestock, honey. Okay, so we're going to get them on to the city, into the city. I may want to build some aqueducts. These cities, actually, I rarely build aqueducts, but I just have so many pops here that I'm challenged in finding places for them to reside. In fact, I've just overcrowded that city. And I don't want to build one either. I want to build a great wonder that will instill loyalty in the provinces. I'm sort of saving my political influence for that effort. So let's move the rest onto this grain territory, and we will hope for the best relative to loyalty. Let's move that. Okay, so no one's overcrowded. Good enough. What have we done to the loyalty here? We flipped it positive. What have we done to the loyalty here? It's still positive. So we paid some gold and we solved that problem. And this area is no longer bleeding. When this governor dies, maybe the corruption goes. We'll get a 0 corruption, and this, well, the bottom line is that's no longer a trouble. And we have these cities now. Do we need to put temples in these cities? No, we don't. What we need to do is build a foundry in one of our cities here. Our capital, Seleukid, is in need of one badly. That's going to get us a tax base as well as research points. We're going to do that immediately. In fact, let's see which one of these cities has the most pops in it. Otherwise, I think Babylon as well. Let's, why not build a foundry in Babylon as well? We'll see about this area. We may want to build a foundry in there as well. We'll build one there. I think, actually, let's not do that just right now, because I think we have an opportunity to do some pop shuffling here. There's a lot of Macedonians here, and there's not a lot of Macedonians here, but there are enough. What we want to do is get the threshold of Macedonians into the majority, and we want the other pops slightly below the majority. I think we can manage to get all of these city groups with a Macedonian majority with just a bit of tinkering. Is that going to be good viewing? I doubt it. I'm going to tinker with it, spend some gold. I'll be right back. Now, this is indeed a more challenging operation than I had first anticipated, because the Babylonians are integrated, so they don't assimilate. And these are not overly Macedonian, nor will they be anytime soon until we perhaps deintegrate the Babylonians, which is not going to be for a while. I still have yet to build a foundry in our capital. I'm going to do that right now and get that moving. So we have spent all of our money, and whatever fires need to be put out cannot be put out because, of course, we have no funding left. So that's the game we're playing right now. So the conquest is not a problem. Let's just unpause it. We'll let that claim get going. And where is the claim? There it is. There's the claim. Is 4.03% done. We'll see how fast that's going to progress. 8%, 12%. I guess to about 75. I guess we'll hire those 2 mercs or thereabouts. Seems to be moving at a fair clip. Miraculous recovery. We've done it indeed. For freedom, or we get 10 corruption. We don't need any trouble like that. We are moving back, right? You're moving? You are moving, all right. We have an influence scheme. Let's just be sure. I'm sure we do. We are doing it. Let's check. Let's see. We have a primary heir. As who's this guy? He's not married. We may as well try. Let's get him married to. We don't really know. Great family, perhaps. Let's see. These fratrakras keep showing up, and they seem to be the... Aha, we have... Let's see. The only ones willing to marry into the royal family. I'm not exactly sure I have an explanation for it. In fact, she's too old anyway. We have this young lady here. I see no reason why we shouldn't marry. And we'll do that. So let's head back here. We have our... Hopefully she'll be able to marry someone who's not a Fratrakra. No doubt butchered that name. So let's go here. I think this fellow is a great family man. And he is a fillet. So let's go ahead, and he's not chaste or anything. Let's plop him down. Get that done. We didn't have to pay again. Good for us. So I think the filletids now should get a married to royal family. I think. Let's check the loyalty here. Well, We tried. Maybe it'll update at the end of the month, or maybe it's just one off from the royal family. Let's check again here. Wedded to ruler family, 15% right there. Yeah, boom. So we've done it. These guys will be more loyal, and we indeed have. I think that's all the. Do we have his son? Can we get him married? Who is he? They just got married, and she, of course, couldn't have. And then we. That's it. That's all we can do relative to marriages, and we'll carry on. Religious advances are just been scorching. We have our bonus here from Taxila. We have the 12.5% from our Omen here. Religious advances are 12%. And we've already rolled over again here into another level and have that available. So let's look here. I think we were on our way to the corruption and provincial loyalty. A wonder that we need to build government traditions. While we're on the way, let's see what we want. Tyranny or... I never change these governor policies. I prefer the PI for other matters. So I'm going to take the tyranny. I don't care about the governor policy, 20%. It doesn't really make much difference to me. All right, so let's take a look at our intended target here. We're 41%. Our troops are arriving in the area. Let's get this guy drilling while he waits. Let's get some merc. So this guy should arrive shortly. We may as well get... the food here is positive. Good for us, good for us. Check here. No civil war, so there's no good civil war going to break out here. He's not at war with anyone else. I think his provinces are by and large loyal. So there's nothing weird that's going to happen over the next couple of months or years or whatnot until this claim hits. So I don't see any reason why we shouldn't bring our Hellenic Macedonian pops to this area and turn it into a Macedonian Hellenic client state, as described earlier in the episode. So if we move the one guy out here, actually we'd want to move as many pops out of this client state area as we can to here, which is now flipped to loyal. So let's see if there are any urban centers. There are not. We're going to get as many pops out of this territory as we can, and then I'm going to move the two Hellenic Macedonians in. Am I going to... Well, let's just move them out. We'll move these guys. Those guys are already on a border. That's where they're going. That's on a border there, I believe, as well. It is. And this is the one other. So there's where we're going to make our capital. And then everything else is good. So we're going to move these guys out into this territory here, unless that's a city. It is. So we'll get this city populated from Pandhorna. As many as we can. So Pandhorna has freemen and tribesmen, and no more can be moved out. Let's get the guys out from Melgat. And then that should do it for what can be done in that area. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that should leave tribals, freemen, tribals and citizen, tribals, citizen, and 1 tribal. So all the pops that can be moved out of that territory or province have. Now I just need to come up with the Hellenic Macedonians. I think they're going to be up here. I won't bore anyone with the actual moving of them. Just maybe we'll try to find them. So there seem to be quite a few Macedonians about this area. The question, are they Hellenic? Let's see if we go down in this direction. We should run across some Macedonian. There's a Hellenic Macedonian there. Wherever that is, we'll take him from there. We have found one. And we'll move said Hellenic Macedonian into there from there. We're going to stage them in Dumbritia. So there should be said Hellenic, there he is there. So I need to find another one. I don't think there are any more in this province. I'm going to give it one more look over. There's one here, and that's where he's going. So there are some Hellenics. We could get like another Hellenic non-Macedonian, then some non-Hellenic Macedonian in the mix. But I bet I can dredge up a Hellenic Macedonian, say, from here. I think I can do it. I don't see any Hellenic Macedonians. All right, so there seems to be a Macedonian here. There seem to be a bunch of Macedonians here. How many? Let's see if we move some guys from here. Maybe there are already Macedonians. There's one from there. And then we have the one from this Dumbritia area. Should be at the bottom of the list there. There we go. So we have 2 Hellenic Macedonians there. I'm just going to move them over here. I'll spare you the detail. I'll be back. All right, a relatively painless move, relatively speaking, towards moving this many provinces, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 provinces, only 2 guys, and didn't really cost all that much money or time, about 5 minutes, maybe 7 minutes, something like that. Whatever the case may or may not be there, we have 2 Macedonians here, and we have a Hellenic majority as well. So it is March 4. At the end of next month, we can roll this province over into a Hellenic Macedonian client state. We have the slot, and we'll do it. Let's let the month roll over. We've done it. So now I'm going to check again. We want to make this the capital of this territory here. We're going to do that immediately. Maybe we'll let another month roll over, just so that it knows. Okay, so how we've done that. Okay, so that should now be a Macedonian Hellenic client state that we can release in the province of Vindhya. We'll look here in the inverse sort there. For V, and there it is right there. We can release that. That is the same one we're looking at. And we're going to hit the button, turn it into a client state. Boom, we've done it. So we are ready for said client state to annex these territories. We're going to get this guy over to this area. Get this guy down here. And this is about 50% done now. We have the researchers gone. See if we can find an oratory man here with a decent skill set. It doesn't look like we have it. It doesn't mean that there's no one available. It just means that he may or may not be employed somewhere else. Let's see if we have this this fellow Shunga. Let's check a great family first. Doesn't look like we have any traits that we're after really high on that list. So we'll go with a non-great family. This fellow is a bit old, very poor health. But he has obsessive. He's Anyone else? Let's see. There's nothing there. We're getting farther down the list. Scholar, and looks like we have a scholar. It's hoping for 2. Well, maybe we'll just go with the best choice. A relative, and just keep it within a great family. There doesn't seem to be any great family either. This guy, why not? I think we'll adopt that guy in very poor health, or grant him citizenship. I don't know about adopting him. And we'll go that route here. We'll get a chance for a bonus, and maybe he pulls through, who really knows. We'll place him down. We'll grant him citizenship. We lose a bit of popularity, so what? So let's check to see if this client state is indeed as expected. Macedonian Hellenic, good for us. And these guys, veterans move on. Let's see here. We've done it. Minus 2%. Wow. Let's see. Trecherosos there as a legate. He wants to get paid. These guys, they just turned pretender. He's not even from a great family. He's just mad with pretender. We can pay him. We don't have that money, or the fellow loses 10 loyalty, and we'll have to do some other sort of maneuver to maybe bribe him or whatnot. I don't see. How can a non-great family man go pretend? I don't really know. I don't know how that happens. It's happened. It happened like 3 times during the Parnian Horde sequence when these guys were marching back. They just went mad. I just ended up with a fair amount of corruption on on our leader here. He has 12 corruption now. Every time I bribe someone, I take a 1% hit there. I give myself some sanctions. The problem that the minus 10 loyalty is what got me during the Parnian Horde woe session. So if we pay him, he'll be happy. The problem is we don't have the money. So we're not going to pay him because we'll get a minus 10 loyalty here for everybody from like strong arm. So we're going to have him up there and we'll say no, we're not paying, and we lose stability, and so what? So this guy is mad now, and our war effort is done. Unfortunately, what happens here, he gets and that doesn't do anything. I guess we have to bribe him. Another bribe for this guy. We'll get him off that stack and a proper general on to the stack. This is the guy that just got bribed here. So we'll lose him. And we'll find someone who's hopefully loyal. This guy seems... he seems good-natured and loyal right up until he turns pretender on us. He's married to the ruler family. Let's see. He's a grateful family, good-natured. It looks like a good choice right up until the guy goes pretender for whatever reason. I don't know, but we're gonna try with this guy. And let's see if we place him here. We've done it. So when does this guy go mad is what I want to know. Who is he and what's his story? He's a pretend he's gone mad as well. So he'll be at it in a moment. We'll have to bribe him as well. We'll not stand for it. We'll not stand for this guy either. Off he goes. Okay, I just checked the wiki and did a quick scan on pretenders. I really didn't find anything about minor characters. I didn't read exactly as precisely as I would have, perhaps could have. I'm gonna go here and check. We still need a general. But what I need to do is find the truth of these pretenders or the secession. So there we have this guy. And this guy as well. I don't think I've ever seen minor characters, or maybe I've never noted them before. But whatever it is, the minor characters that I place on our stacks here tend to show up here more often than not. I was hoping to avoid pretenders on our legions by placing minor characters, but apparently that's not going to help much either. So let's see if we can find a new character here with a very, very high loyalty. There we have this fellow. 89%. That sounds like a really good idea. as we only have the 2 legions. 0 corruption, on he goes. So what we need to do is place the fellow, and as so. Okay, so we have our client state, we have our claim in action. Let's just we actually probably need to hire these guys immediately. Is this one of our? That's not this guy. I think we need to hire him. And I think there's another merc stack here. It's going to cost us a pretty penny, all right, that's for sure. We want to get him headed. Will this guy arrive in time? Maybe should have recruited him sooner. We're going to try to get him to the front as soon as is feasible. This should be another obliteration, essentially. And I'm not going to show the war. It's just going to be an obliteration once it starts. I'll show the annexation, but there's nothing really much to see, I don't think, until the war is finished. What is this? Byblos. All right, I thought that was our client state. Tylos there for a moment. 15% or 6 stability. Well, let's see. We could use the money. 6 stability is always nice. What are we going to do with it? I don't know. I don't know what to do with it, really. I think we have all that. Suppose we could change this to a more advantageous configuration, a population capacity. Sounds like a really good idea, truth be known. That would lower our stability. We're going to take said stability here. And then perhaps we will take Aphrodite there. So now we have a 40 stability, no problem. We'll carry on. Before going much further, let's take a look here and see if our provinces are in need of attention. Media Magna is still a bit mad, and there's the same. There is a city there, and we have we don't know why it's mad. 0.02. The governor corruption is just what's making it mad ever so slightly. We could build a temple there. We probably should build a temple there. Let's do it. Then we can keep the head of the family happy. I think this fellow is the head of the family. And we won't have to worry. And that should resolve over time. We still have a fair amount of money left. Let's see if there's anything else that can be done in that area. Let's see, this area is still a bit off, a 0.06 more than a bit. Okay, so governor corruption, and then the city of is 0.03 down. We can mitigate that 0.03 and turn this only into a 0.03 burn, and then we could get rid of this governor and this corruption. Perhaps we'll get, I don't really want, primary Macedonian pops here, as I don't have the royal army. I suppose it's not a poor idea, but they're going to eat into my research rate, which at present is 115. Suppose we could buy some happiness buildings, or we'll just we'll get that ball rolling with that, and that should resolve. This guy is the head of the family there as well. He seems happy enough. We'll maybe just leave him be there, and we'll carry on and let this happen. I think we can drill here. This area, let's see if we have food. We have food. We don't have food, but we really don't care either. Let's get, that's going to result. We're not going to be here for very long, is my point. Let's see, we get 10 corruption, or we'll take the latter. Can we declare war right now? Probably. Probably. We will probably won't run into any trouble, really. Are we in any hurry? Let's burn some more AE at a peacetime rate. There's no reason to be in a hurry. Unless this guy's about to go mad from something. Let's see. He's no longer allied with that other fellow. Andhara. Alright, well. No problem on my end. We didn't want to have to extract war score from the crazed Andhanaris anyway. So we can completely occupy this fellow. We can't even do that yet as well, because we don't even have the claim. So on we go. Okay, so we've integrated Gandhara. We'll take these guys, those guys, and those guys just because. We no longer import various things. None of them are our capital area. We need to assign a governor. How many? Just the one for the Himalayan area. So we're gonna see if we can find us a governor without corruption from a great family, hopefully, who is reasonably loyal. Looks as though this fellow fits the bill. And there's no reason why we shouldn't choose him to reside over that area. Okay. So we now are certainly adjacent more so to Nabaka. We could create a client state, full provenance there. If we create a client state here, we'll no longer be in adjacency or have diplomatic range to declare war on these guys. So far as I know, we can't declare war, right? Outside our range. We could declare war here. It's not outside our range. Where is exactly is our range here? Let's look to find where the range is. And we don't really know. We know that's a zone of control of a fortress. Okay, well that's good. So, okay, there we go. We've done that. So this one is just ever so slightly outside, and we're adjacent here. So I sort of would be like to actually know the actual distance here, because if we don't really know the range. We are in range there because we're adjacent. But what happens if I release that as a client state or sell it, and then we're not adjacent? So I don't really know the range, and I don't know that there's a way to find it either. Well, maybe this is 2629 and our range is 2600. So I could roll the dice and assume that 29.51 is closer here. I really don't know. Maybe we'll find out at some point after this episode. So whatever the case is, we're going to find out the truth of that matter. And this claim is about to hit, and we're going to declare that war. The Philosophos is gone. And let's see here. We have a 19-year... These guys are very good at what they do. They're a little... We need to spread the wealth out here a bit. We have more exceptional characters here from the Fortakras, and let's see if we can find another young man who from a great family who is of use. More Fortakras there. They seem to have a great number of them as well. The Seleukid here, the Praxibulos, was not very good at much of anything there per se. And let's see, we have a younger man. No, not the young man here. Another Seleukid. He's a fair skill set there. How about this fellow? He has an oratory ability. He's a young man. Why not place him down? We'll get him rolling along on... That's our legitimacy guy there, though. And this guy, let's see if any of these guys have zeal. This guy does. That's our AE man. And how about you? 3, 5, 4, 2. Yeah, so this guy, military experience, yeah, it's a 9 man. It's not bad. We're gonna displace this guy and get him over on Aqueducts. There he is. We'll find him a little higher here, hopefully. I can't pronounce any of these. There he is. I think we can find so let's see if we can find this guy. He should have a fair statesmanship skill. There he is. Dinipopos Acrotiad. There he is. He'll give us more legitimacy, and that should flip to positive 0.02, which is better than it was before. We need to keep our stability higher, and that should come up. As this comes down, it'll go up even faster. We're not going to take any aggressive expansion from this war. When we finish this war, we're going to lumber back away from this area and proceed to take this territory here for Gera and Maka. For Tylos, our new client state. We'll take that area and then begin the integration process. And then we'll lumber up here and see if we can take Albania for this area. And I believe we have another slot available, a 5 of 6. And I believe that we can create another client state here and have it annex the Bosporan Kingdom. And then they won't get too large, and then they'll integrate faster than not. In fact, I think I should do that right now. I'm going to see if we can dredge up some Hellenic pops in this area. Macedonian, I think they're back here now, although I'm not sure. Let's see, we've got 3 Hellenic Macedonians in this area, and I think there should be more Hellenic Macedonians here. There are 5 Hellenic Macedonians in Alista here. So, if I had to say what's going to be the threshold here, let's just move those 3 guys and see if we need to move the rest of them. We probably, at least we have a decent chance of not having to move them. At least we did at some point. Yeah, we need to move them. So we need at least, well, let's move some of these guys out from Sardin that happen to be Hepidatic. 1, 2, and 3. Do we have any more Hellenics? We don't. We don't. Do we have any more Hellenics we can move to that area? We don't seem to. Do we have any Hellenic Macedonians here? Any Hellenics will do. We don't have them. Therefore, we have to move. I'm just going to move these 5 Hellenic Macedonians that I found off to that area. They're sort of hard to come by in this part of the world. And they're going to move forward here. And we'll not worry about whether we should move 3 or 4 or however many. We'll just move all 5 of them so we don't have to move them another time. So let's move them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll move them into Sardin. And we should be able to colonize adjacency to the Bosporan Kingdom in that manner. We've done that. We can colonize that. I see, we didn't have to colonize that. We could have colonized that. Well, we're going to go, something strange could happen up here. I don't really know what strange could happen. This could become decolonized or decolonized. We're going to continue to colonize down here adjacent to this area, which I don't think will become decolonized. This is a 10 pop here. We're going to colonize this area right here. And then we'll call that a day. And then I don't think that will decolonize. So we need to move a sufficient number of Hellenic Macedonians. We've done it. We'll go right here and colonize that. Okay, so this is the present capital. And what we need to do is make that a Hellenic Macedonian area. So is it already Hellenic Macedonian? We don't know. It's Macedonian and Hellenic. All right, good for me. Good for me. So really all that I need to do is just evacuate the two guys from there. Sardin. Oh, hold on a minute here. We need to get that guy back from Sardin. From here. Again, so this is now the capital. Again, I'm going to check again because we did some pop shuffling. Macedonian and Hellenic. So at the end of the month, this should indeed be releasable as another one of our mighty client states. We have a casus belli now. This area we can release. What's the provenance name again? Satara. So if we go here, sort from A to Z, we should be able to release Satara. SAT. There it is. Release subject as client state. I'm going to double check that again just because. That's the capital. That's Macedonian. That's Hellenic. Satara it is. Satara is right here. We're going to release it as a client state now. Okay, so Satara is a Macedonian Hellenic client state, and the timer is ticking to where we can integrate. How about this guy? We created that some time back. We can't begin integration for another 2 years. So, the plan is to lumber back here after we take much of this Pitinikia area for our new client state. We'll take this area for Tylos, and then we'll lumber up around this bend here and take Albania for here. And by the time that finishes, well, actually, we'll probably have no aggressive expansion by that point, and we'll need to take on these Adiabene and Armenian fellows, at which point we'll probably raise some levies. I don't know that I want to make a bunch of territorial claims on Armenia. I don't mind taking the territory, and we'll have zero aggressive expansion at the time. So, you know, as to whether I make an excessive amount of claims or take areas without claims or not, I don't know. Let's see how large some of these claims can get. Like here, there's a lot of little territories here that is probably just not worth my while. But this 143 pointer right there, we're going to do that. Amorodi, let's see here. There it is right there. So we're going to want to take that on our way back. So that's the plan. We're going to take this for our client state. We're going to sort of lumber back here, take that. And then we'll probably secure access to Albania, so we don't have to go up all around this area here and there. We're going to take out our former tributary. We're going to take this portion of Armenia there, and then we'll be able to access this Albanian war, which we'll annex for there, and then we'll lumber up here and take the Bosporan Kingdom and annex it to that client state. So we can declare this war immediately. I plan to do it. I'm not going to show it. It's going to be a slaughter. And we're going to just assign this title and get on with our day. Let's see if we can assign some pops to the Discorna family here. This fellow is relatively young. Looks like he has a fair skill set, a 7-7. Why not plop him down? There's no reason not to do it. How about a governor here? Where is that? That's no longer valid. So let's go ahead here and declare the war, and then we'll I'll pick it up. If anything strange happens, I'll be sure to record it on video, but this is going to be even more of a slaughter than the previous. Yep, there it is. So our new client state here is not going to participate, and we really don't care. The only one we care about participating is Aldabarivati. This guy here is green light, and it's on now. So I will orchestrate this war. I'll see you soon. Here's an update. It's got a bountiful harvest. I built 3 foundries in the largest cities down here. The war is proceeding quickly. Using these mercs, we assaulted this fort. They're on their way down here. We'll assault that fort as well. We've routed a couple of enemy armies. There's really nothing to watch. I'll be back. The governor of that troubled province of Media has finally passed on. This war is about to end. Assaulted this fort as well. Sort of dispersing the mercs and going to stand them down soon. The 3rd Taxus of Stratos Mesopotamia is headed here. We'll stack wipe that guy or send him on his way. We need to... what happened here? I thought it was Media that passed on. He is. There's no I see. I have inadvertently dismissed the governor pop-up icon. I think I may need to restart the machine to start it, but we'll do that after the next episode, I think. Let's see. Head of the great family. Well, he's loyal. He's also very corrupt, so we'll leave him be. See if we can find a reasonably... that's no corruption right there. Here's the man. No, he's not a great family. So let's see if we can find a great family man who's not corrupt. This young fellow's 80s, very loyal indeed. Let's see if we can spread the wealth out a bit here, though, to one of these families who is not as grateful as Fatraka's. Let's see here. Keep going down the list. They are all very corrupt. There. Praxibulo, he'll go pretender immediately, so. Let's see. How about this fellow? 66, 0 corruption. Let's see what happens in that troubled area. That has... I think this is the one here that was troubled. That still is, but it's no longer bleeding. So, let's carry on with this war activity here. We may as well show it from here on out, as we're about to end the war and the episode as well. We got somebody. So these guys are having a revolt, and they're not taking any of our territory, so we'll carry on here. And that should do it. So I'm going to transfer all of these provincial capitals to our new client state, and then we'll annex it. I'll be right back. Alright, I transferred all the capitals. Anyone who doesn't know how to do it, you just click on the capital. A little box will show up here. It'll have an arrow. Just click on it. It'll open up a drop box here. You can choose your client state. The bottom line is we can sue for peace. This whole lot here, we'll take this. We have a claim there. We'll only take 2.62 aggressive expansion. The rest we'll take for our client state. It looks as though he's not willing as yet. And we'll have to reset all that. And we just have to let all of the rest of this reoccupy the whole lot here. And then he'll become compliant at 100 war score, I think. He probably will be agreeable now as well. So let's reset all that. He's still disagreeable. Okay, so we're going to take that. Then we'll work our way down this way. So is that the last of them? 107, I see. Well, I suppose I could change a policy or whatnot. Or perhaps that ends up being with us to Seleukid. Well, we don't really want it. But that's good to know. I'm going to sort this out. Essentially, what I need to do is have these territories transferred directly to our client state, and then we'll be able to take more in the settlement. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back to you. Okay, so I transferred all of those territories individually. Let's hit the Sue for Peace button. We'll take that for ourselves. The rest of this goes to our client state. Work our way down in that direction. That leaves us with just this provenance, which is going to throw us over the limit by a fair amount. I'm going to go ahead and annex individual territories via this method here, seed territory. It takes a little while. It's time intensive. I don't think it makes for good viewing. I'll be back. He's still not willing to give up the 100 war score. I'm imagining he must be because of this guy. Still has troops on the board. We're going to get rid of him. Stack wipe that guy, and he should be willing shortly once that occupies. Okay, I'm gonna finish this peace agreement out here. A is more agreeable, in positive 1146. So I'm gonna take the 100 war score. I'll be right back. All right, I've done it. It took a little while, some time involved. So all of these provinces, you'll note, except this one, which is here, have been ceded to our client state. And I think all of these surely will show as being ceded. Operanta. Is that? Looks as though that is something that I didn't account for. I don't want it. I'll be back. Okay, this Pitinikin Operanta to Seleukid. This is Operanta here. So whatever it is, it's something we actually want, and I'm not sure why this is listed under the seed territory section, but whatever the case is, we've given all of it to our client state except for this mystery Operantian territory, which, well, anyway, let's hit the button and carry on. We've done it. And that is as specified. Oh, look at that. It's given us this. We're going to have to debug that while we walk back over here to take Maka and Gera. I don't know why it does it. It's, of course, a bug. We don't want it. I'm going to eliminate the aggressive expansion it gave me for taking that. I shouldn't even be able to take it. I don't border it. Whatever the case is, I'm going to debug it, and that's going to be the end of this episode. I hope to see you in the next one.